Hi everybody, Russ and My Hammers 11. I hope you're all safe and well in this glorious sunshine we're in at the moment. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you can be notified any time we put new content on. We have videos going up daily, but sometimes 2-3 times a day. I won't want you to miss any cracking videos, cracking guests, cracking interviews, cracking memories, including today's guest. He played 33 times to the club, 5 goals and 2 spells at the club. He's club ambassador now. He's a lifelong Hammer. It's Steve Bloody Jones. Hi, Jonah. How you doing, man?
Good, Russ, you?
Yeah, not bad. How's lockdown treating you? Everyone says it, but how is it treating you?
Obviously, I've got an antiques place, so that's shut down for the last 3 months, but I've been busy at work on my job, so
yeah.
Luckily enough, I've kept working, really. A lot of people haven't, but
No.
So it's been fortunate, I suppose.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? And luckily, we've got nice weather at the moment, so
yeah, it's gorgeous. I've got a couple of days off now as well, Russ. So I'm going to enjoy.
You have timed this perfectly, my man. Perfectly.
Well, I've got to go back Thursday, but I'm half thinking about a sickie.
Yeah, well, don't say it on a video which is going off YouTube or anything, Jonah, will you?
I'm definitely going in, mate. Don't worry.
Anyway, so the idea of the channel, obviously, we're talking to fans and players about their memories of the club, and obviously you're in a unique position because you're not only played for West Ham, but you're a fan as well. So it's great to have you on, Jonah. Now, in terms of your fan journey, why West Ham? Why was West Ham your club, mate?
Really, to be fair, Russ, all my family were West Ham. And we started going up. Obviously, I was in the North Bank to start with. We used to slip in. The old dad was in first. The kid was in for free. We had boxes at the back of the North Stand. It weren't every week, but we went. You know, what I mean, we went a few times a season, and then it sort of kind of progressed to sort of. I ended up on the South Bank for a few games, and then sort of I kind of lost it for a little bit because I started playing at a decentish level. As a kid, so I totally missed a lot of like going to games and that really until obviously I started playing for the club.
Exactly. And then let's talk about that because that was, obviously that was quite a jump, weren't it, mate? It's like to end up playing for West Ham from where you were. What was the story? Because obviously I loved hearing the story of how transfers happen because it's something you don't hear about. You just see it in a paper, someone signed for this and this and this. How did it happen with you the first time?
It's a bit long-winded, to be fair, Russ. I'd scored a lot of goals for Billericay for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Sheffield United were watching me. I went up there on trial. Southend tried to sign me, then Vic Jobson at the time, the owner, blocked it and said I weren't good enough, which was once again undermining the manager a little bit, but didn't do me no favours. And I had a trial game at West Ham and scored against Millwall. We won 5-2, reserve game. So that was quite nice, beating them 5-2. But and then it didn't really happen. I got an injury and I had a week's trial, and then I sort of drifted away for a little while. And I think Harry had seen me play a few times and he was interested in me. And we ended up playing. West Ham sent a good team down to Billericay pre-season. And we drew 5-5 and I scored 4. And I had an absolute stormer. Obviously, if you're scoring 4 again. And West Ham had a good side. Dixie was playing, Gary's. But I know it's pre-season. I know it's hard for pros because obviously I'll become one. But it was just one of them things that once that happened, I think Harry, when the meeting went back, because Harry's team went elsewhere, it was probably Margate, Harry's team, where the fan came on. And then it kind of, and then they went back to the thingy, and Harry had asked how I'd done in the meeting, and they both said, oh, well, he scored 4 goals. And he went, and I think that was it, really. And then from then on, even though Billy was involved with a lot of it as well, I think it was Harry's main influence because he'd asked about me a couple of times while he was Bournemouth manager.
Yeah.
And when Billy Bonds asked you to come and sign, you ain't saying no.
Nah, exactly.
Especially to your team as well.
Exactly. It must have been awesome.
Got a great photo, Russ, of me signing with Bonds.
I've seen it. Yeah. You look about 12.
Yeah, I do, really. I wish I looked that young.
And so, what was it like? Obviously, being a West Ham fan, signing for your boy, very Roy of the Rovers type stuff. What was it like that first training session, at Chadwell Heath? playing at West Ham, your club? You know, it must have been.
To be honest with you, mate, on the pitch it started very fast for me.
Yeah.
I came in, I scored a couple of goals on my debut, and the fans really took to me. But in all honesty, I don't really think I got a fair deal the first time I was there, like appearances-wise. You know, funny enough, the second time I come back, I was a better player, but it didn't really happen for me. I could have scored twice at Arsenal on the opening day, but it didn't happen. And then it kind of went from there, and a bid come in for me, and it was you got to go again, really. Basically, under Redknapp, that happens, you know. It was crazy, really, because on the Tuesday night, I think we played Wembley away, Billericay. We lost 2-0, and I had a bad game, to be honest with you. I didn't play great. But Frank Lampard Senior was watching me, and as I was walking off, I was trudging a bit because I knew he was watching me, and he just winked at me and like just sort of nodded. And then I signed on the Wednesday and was sub on the Saturday.
Mental.
Bizarre.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But that seems to happen. Everyone I've interviewed, all the ex-players, it's exactly the same story. They're like signed on one day, on the Wednesday, or like you, and they're in the squad for the Saturday. Or they're when I interviewed Leroy Rossini, like Friday he'd signed, he was in the squad on the Saturday, and it just means it happens so quickly. You know, nowadays it wouldn't happen that quickly, would it?
To be honest, the squads are so small then. You know what I mean? I think if you bring someone in and there's 5 subs and you've got 10 players and you've signed someone for, only 25 grand, but why wouldn't you throw them on the bench?
Yeah.
You've signed them in the... So, I mean, I'm a big... Because obviously my boy's at West Ham, he's under 15s now, and he's doing really well. But it's very hard for him now. It's very, very hard. There's like 30, 25 players of his age group. To come through that system is going to take some doing.
You're right, and then obviously with the influx of foreign-based players and stuff, it makes it harder for the sort of the homegrown talent to come through, doesn't it? I know there's restrictions on how many, you know, in terms of players.
There's not really restrictions, though, is there, Russ? We don't have to play. We don't have to field 7 or 8 English or British players, which we should do. It should be 7 or 8 British players and 3, and then I think it works in our favour. Yeah, we can start blooding a few youngsters, and you've seen what it does to most teams. If they do that, it can be a success. Yeah, no, definitely. We see it time and time again, don't we? Especially at West Ham. Yeah, and you know, and when we do have 1 or 2 or 6 at one point, when we had, like, you know, the golden era with all like Joe and that lot, you know, it makes a big difference. And that's why I think people took to you, Steve, because it was like you're a West Ham fan, you're a West Ham boy playing for your club. It's like everyone who's those 30-odd thousand at Upton Park would have traded the shirt off their back to be in your position. And do you know what I mean? I think that's what West Ham fans love to see, is a West Ham boy playing for his club. Yeah, of course. And I think West Ham fans, mainly, if you put effort in, Russ, sometimes you don't have to be playing well, mate. No. You know, I mean, we all have bad games, and at the start of my career, I had more bad games than I had good, for sure. You know what I mean? But if you put a shift in, nobody can say nothing. And at the moment, the team I'm seeing, the current team, they're not doing that, mate. And if they continue to do that, we will get relegated. Yeah. You know, or we'll be right in it, which we are. Yeah. Got to put a shift in. If you don't put a shift in other teams up the ante a little bit and put a bit more work in, they're going to beat you. Yeah, no, definitely, and even more so in these strange times, you haven't got the fans to feed off anymore. So you've got it's more about mental strength, isn't it? Really, at the moment. Yeah, you know as well as I do, Russ. West Ham fans, when the team are on the ascendancy, there's no better. No. You know what I mean? It's electrifying. You've seen it yourself. We've seen it time and time again. I've played under the lights, like thrilling games, you know. Even just, you know, just the atmosphere and that is totally, totally electric. Yeah. But you've got to be playing well to do that. It's true. Very true. And you're right. When it's not going well, particularly Upton Park, it was a very lonely place, I imagine, as a player. I had a couple of bad games, mate. They weren't easy. No, well, particularly, to be honest, your second spell, as you said, you didn't have a good rub of the green, to be honest. You know, you in terms of strike partners, arguably as well. You know, and it just, as you said, you came back as a better player, but I don't think the team was better when you came back. If that made sense. probably it was a decent team, but it was a bit crazy. I remember Paulo Futre. Funny enough, I do mention him in my team. An incredible player, us. European Football Year twice. He come to us with no knees.
Yeah.
So he was never going to play much. But I remember him turning up. We was at Hainault on the cross country. He was about to run. He took up in a stretched limo. The old window went down. He had a cigar. I think he had a cigarette. He smoked a cigarette. He threw his cigarette out the window. The window went up. He got out of the car. We done one little lap warm up, 2 little laps warm up. He got back in the car, wound the window down, lit another cigarette up, and drove home to the hotel. But I mean, he was definitely, for me, he was. I don't think people realise how good he was, Russ.
No.
But we obviously got the real end of his career.
Yeah.
You know. So, but an incredible player.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of training sessions I've never seen before.
No, I can
Frightening.
imagine.
He was the European Maradona, wasn't he?
He was. You know, he really was. He was that good. But as you saw, we did. As always, the way with West Ham, you never see the best. There's only a couple of players where you've seen the best of them. You know, we either get them when they're beginning their career or when they're ending their career. I can only think of maybe two.
We do normally get a lot of players that excel at the beginning of their career.
Yeah,
more so than later players coming in and doing well. You know, we seem to have that strike partners. Mike Newell, very good player. I had 4 games with him, Russ. He was woeful. And don't get me wrong, he's probably the worst partner I play with, but Mike Newell was a good player. But for me, he had a shocking time with us.
Yeah, no, he did.
It just, nothing happened for him at all. So, which happens to strikers, of course.
And even more so for strikers, isn't it? If it's not working, you're not scoring. It's like that's your job, really, isn't it? It's like and that's the trouble, isn't it?
Don't have to be scoring because one of the players in my team, Trevor Morley, sometimes you can be an outstanding team player where you're picked without scoring. Yeah. But you are judged on goal and assist, really. Yeah. So you have to do, if you're a forward, you've got to do something in the final third. If you don't, then you ain't going to be a forward for long, are you?
No, very true, very true. Now, obviously, when you played for both spells, obviously, you had a few characters in the team. There's a few characters in that squad, and I think it's something. And I say that
what baptism fire-eyed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, signing as a pro, wet behind the ears, mate, as a footballer. Wow, there was a lot of characters in that squad.
Very much so. Very much so.
Game I was sub, I didn't get on. I was walking out of the dressing room, obviously dressed up, ready to go. Dixie taps me on the shoulder. Jonesy, let's go out, mate. Yeah, cool, all right, no worries. Gets in his car. The car opens up, bottle of JD. Obviously, it's not advertised as that now, but that's what it was in them days. Yeah. You know, you had a few JDs. We go and pick your best power up. Went and picked the best power up, drove up to Tots, had a night in Southend. And on my first, after being there 4 days, and then Dixie started doing something like that, it kind of meant quite a bit to me, you know.
Yeah. The Dixie did. It was
probably one of them. It was probably one of them. You probably see how hard it was for me, and it was one of them. Keep working at it, sort of thing.
No,
because you're new to it. So,
well, that's the thing. I mean, you
respect for Dixie for that.
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, and coming from Dixie meant a lot for you as a fan as well, because obviously what Julian sort of means to the club as well. And if he's putting you under his wing, so to speak, it's not. I think
it was just to help me out, Russ. It was one of them. He knew how hard it was for me coming from there to there, and it was like, here you go. Let's like sort of get you used to it and out and about, and just generally just being like really a decent fella, you know.
Yeah.
Which helped me massively, because the first year was very hard for me, because I was, even though I turned up as a goal scorer and I was a good player, I had pace and this, that, I weren't as good as them because I'd not trained every day, you know. And it took a long time to get into. It probably took 18 months for me to even get match sort of fit and training fit. You know, I remember Alvin Martin, mate. One of my first training sessions, we was in a circle, it was 1 against 1, and Russ, I don't think I touched the ball for like 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about an England international.
Yeah.
Who's playing for 20 years, mate. He just played me off the park.
Yeah.
bounced the ball off me, played nuts for me, this, that, the other. I think I crawled off the circle because I was so tired for trying to catch him.
Yeah. Well, that's the
I
thing.
was twice as good as Alvin.
Yeah.
So
No, I get that.
I weren't in the football brain at the time.
No, it's a different mentality. It must be a completely different mentality from playing, non-league, and then to play, where it is your job is to play football, and it must be so bizarre to flip that switch, so to speak, because you'd be as well as playing football, you're grafting as well. So it's like doing, not having to do that, but playing football. It must be sort of a bit of a head fuck, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have to come back in, and obviously you have to get used to training 5 days a week. Another situation I had when I was at the club, Alex Bunbury. We used to work very hard, Russ. Paul Hilton, the reserves, really hard. If you weren't in that squad, you ran. You started on the corner flag. You did a lap of the pitch round the back of the goals. You had a minute's rest. You went again. You done it 10, 20 times. So it was real hard graft. And I remember when we signed Alex Bunbury and he weren't in the squad for the first week. I don't know why, but anyway, it was easy for me because I could run. Like people like Peter Butler, running was quite easy for me, Russ. But after he'd done one lap, second lap, he's 3 minutes. And he's nowhere near it. Everyone else is doing the times, and he's 3.5 minutes for a lap of the pitch after the second one. And all I can remember was Harry saying to Bill, "Oh, what have we signed here? What have we signed? He can't run. He can't run." And bearing in mind, this guy was once again held in high recognition, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
we paid £500,000 for him from I think Maritima. I think
something like that. Yeah, it was a big signing. It was a big
sign.
It
was a big sign, but it weren't good when he couldn't run around the pitch twice. So especially in this game,
exactly,
or the British game.
Exactly, and obviously, you mentioned Butts. Obviously, we've interviewed Butts. Who's got
I watched Butts. I watched
the crazy life of Peter Butler. But obviously, you two got quite close. Were you drive partners together, weren't you? You'd pick you up and stuff, wouldn't he, and vice versa?
Yeah. I mean, the whole time that Butts was there, virtually, I virtually went in for it. Went in with him, and once again, I've not got no higher words about Butts, mate. An outstanding player, an outstanding person, and I love the way he played. He's my 11. I loved the way he played. He'd tackle, get up, he'd go again. And he could play as well, Russ. And he had the simple... He could win the ball, mate, and he knew when to give it.
Yeah, simple.
And that was part of that promotion on the 92-93 season, which, luckily enough, I think I played 9 or 10 games with sub-appearances in it. Scored a couple of goals. It was a very... Obviously, I was never going to play towards the end. They signed David Speedy. Clive Allen come in, I think.
Yeah.
So there were some high-caliber strikers there, Russ, for the time. So I got the odd sub-appearance at the end, but I was never going to play a lot. But, that was an outstanding team, and Butts was a big part of that.
Yeah, he was. And I can imagine all those... Go on.
Great fella. Fella.
I can imagine you and him having a good old chat on the A127.
You can't drink, mate. 2 drinks in sleep. I remember going out a couple of times, the people used to put beers on his head, Russ, because he was, after 2 or 3 beers, mate, he was snoring.
Well, he tells me he can't tell his every time, because when we interviewed him, because obviously he's in Liberia at the moment, and his apartment like backs onto the beach.
Yeah.
And he was going for a couple of beers afterwards, and he said, "Don't tell the wife." And I said, "Well, a bit like you just said, where you said you were going to throw a sickie." I said, "Well, you've just done it on YouTube, mate. So if your wife hears it," he's like, "Can we edit that?"
We're both guilty, mate.
Both guilty. You mentioned about your 11. Obviously, what's really cool with the 11s from the players' perspective is we get a totally different perspective from the fans' perspective, because as you said, for example, Butts, a classic example. He's appeared in lots of players' 11, but not necessarily in the fans' 11, because because he does a lot of the work which might not be appreciated, you know what I mean, but by the fans, but the players know how good a player he was. So that's what's quite nice about the difference. So
I don't think the fans didn't realise what a good player he was, and I think the fans always loved him.
Oh, definitely, I loved him.
But he wouldn't be. He's not a standout player.
I know. Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's not one could have twist and turn the game, even though he scored in a couple of games. Funny enough, what I played in, he weren't player that was known for getting forward, being creative. You know, he was a grafter. He was George Paris. George Paris. With they both could play. There's no question about that. But they also put in a tremendous shift in.
No, totally, and actually, that's exactly how I felt about not just Butts, because I always followed Butts because he was the first player I ever met. Shook hands at a Junior Hammer birthday party.
I've done a few of them parties.
I know. Could you imagine that happening now? You know, your daughter's having a birthday party and Anderson comes in and shakes. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen.
No, I doubt you'd get him there, would you?
No, exactly. You wouldn't get him. You wouldn't get him there. But obviously, obviously, we haven't known football until recently, and having like watched a load of old football back again, I could appreciate it through older eyes. So, like, you know, that 92-93 season, that was sort of my main, like, that's when I sort of got into football, West Ham, and it was like, you know, it was the strikers, it was you, it was Speedy, it was Clive Allen, it was you know, Bish, it was people like that, but watching back, as you said, I now appreciate people like Butler more. I appreciate Breaker more. People like that who did a lot of the sort of the donkey work, so to speak, which as a kid I wouldn't look at because it's all about the goals and it's all about the flashy players. But actually now you appreciate.
It takes me back to my childhood, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, I was obviously a West Ham fan. I had West Ham family. We was all West Ham. We went at times. But at the FA Cup final, Russ, I was the person that scored the winning goal. Now, whether he be Spurs, whether he be Arsenal or whoever, Alan Sunderland or Brian Robson, that day you go out of the park and you'd emanate that player. And you'd be that player that scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final.
Exactly.
But I think that's what it was about. And obviously Brooking as well in 80. You know, I mean, I was 10 years old, so I would have been Trevor Brooking diving header. You know, that's the way we were when we was kids. That's all we did. We played football on the green.
Yeah.
Knocked down. I know it sounds a bit crazy, but that's what it was about then.
Wembley doubles. I used to love Wembley doubles. Exactly.
Mate,
yeah. You'd always.
Wembley... I think most kids would have been the same back then, Russ.
Of course. And he's right. I remember we used to
because
play
the cup final.
And it was all a spectacle. Yeah, it was a match. It's not now.
You got up on a Saturday morning and you watched it from 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was the bit right to the game. You know, but now, obviously, times have changed, mate. Champions League's overtaken. FA Cup's not important. The League Cup's even less important, which is quite sad, really, because I think they're two great trophies.
Yeah. No, definitely. And you're right. I mean, now it's like the FA Cup is on, like, I don't know, 5:30 on a Saturday, and it's like, well, after a Premier League programme, you know, they're like a week, you know, and it's just, you know, I think although saying that, obviously when we went in 2006, that was obviously a big day for West Ham, you know, because we weren't used to going, we hadn't been there for a long time, and
I went to that,
that was just, I mean, I always loved going to Cardiff. I thought Cardiff was really cool.
It was.
Bit of a day out, you know what I mean? It's like even Wembley, I find it a bit boring. I find Wembley a bit boring. I find it a bit, just a bit sort of sad, really, I think. Whereas Cardiff, I find a lot more everyone together. You know, it's almost like that old school. A bit like when people talk about Upton Park to London Stadium. You know that Cardiff. It was like you got in the middle. You got the stadium right in the middle of all the pubs and everything. Whereas, you know, Wembley's a bit corporate. But hey ho, it is what it is. Anyway,
I know what you're saying about London Stadium. I think it'll work there in the end.
Yeah,
if they get them stands, so if they can break that tarpaulin gap and bring it closer a bit, you've got yourself a pucker stadium.
I think we got
sort that out.
No,
which I'm sure sooner or later, whether it be the owners in charge now or if there is a next one, whether it be, it will happen and it will bring it all back. And once again, Russ, football's about players and teams going on the pitch and putting a performance in that warrants the atmosphere that West Ham fans give it. And they haven't done that for a little while.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to perform with West Ham fans. You're in no better place. I've been to the London Stadium, the Chelsea game, the Spurs game, electrifying.
Yeah,
you know, because we're putting performance in against a good side, and that's what needs to happen. And hopefully, it'll happen sooner rather than later.
If the team are performing, the stadium's the last thing on people's minds.
Yes,
basically definitely. That's basically it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. It ain't Upton Park. It ain't as good as Upton Park.
No, it's
But
different. Yeah.
it can be better in the future if they improve the stands.
Yeah, and the harshest thing is, and I've said it lots of times before when people ask me about the stadium move, is it's not, and it's it's not really for our generation, Joe. It's for your daughter, my daughter. It's for the younger generation
Yeah,
moving
cool.
forward.
Yeah, cool.
And that's hard to take.
We've been the worst of it, Russ. Obviously.
Yeah.
It's a new move to a new stadium. But
Exactly.
hopefully, once it's built, we own it. It'll become decent.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all there. All the pieces are there. Just got that puzzle. Just got to be put together properly. The pieces are there. That's no doubt about that. We've got the fan base. You've got the infrastructure, the travel.
Yeah.
I mean, Upton Park was falling apart. Bless her. She was great, but she was falling apart. And if that district line's buggered, you are buggered to get out of Upton Park, innit? And so people forget about those things. That massive queue down Upton Park when it's pissing down with rain. We've lost, 4-0 against, Swansea, the last game of the season.
Funny though, there was some funny times. There were some funny times in them queues. Though, as a fan.
Yeah. It was.
There's a lot of character there. I mean, Gary Firmingham, people like that. Phil Daniels, that I knew, obviously, because I used to get the training anyway. So I got to know Land and Sea Boys and all the fans and guys, really. So it was a good atmosphere along that road.
They are fun. It was fun. It was fun times. But nowadays you're right. The game's moved on. It's modern. It's all about infrastructure. It's all about transport links. It's all about getting loads of fans in. And I mean, as you said, the pieces are all there. And hopefully, get this season out of the way. Get everyone. God knows when we all go back in there. But I think once we all get back into the stadium, I think it will mean people will be a bit more acceptance, you know what I mean? Because everyone will be together, be 60,000 people there singing bubbles together, and it'll be. I think it's opened people's eyes to this whole pandemic around, appreciating the smaller things. And Peter said to me, West Ham in the last few years is like a chore going to the London Stadium, but it's a chore they want to do again. They want to go back. Same as me on Saturday, going there. It's like.
That comes with West Ham, doesn't it?
It does.
If you're a West Ham fan, you will continually go, won't you?
Yeah, it's not about the football at West Ham. If it was about the football, none of us would be West Ham fans.
No,
because we've won fuck all since.
More about the football beforehand, but now it's not so about the football.
No.
But I think that will come again, Russ. Once we get a decent side and the stadium gets sorted, I think you've got like you said, you've got no better place to have a stadium.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with him. Anyway, let's crack on to this 11. We've had a little deviation to the stadium discussion. Let's go back. Right, let's go for this 11 then, Jonah. Who's in goal for the Jones 11? That's what I want to know.
There's only one goalkeeper for me, mate. Ludo, obviously.
Yeah.
I had 2 spells there, but Ludo was, mate, professional, unbelievable. And a sponsored Skoda, mate. It don't get no better.
Yeah, exactly. Who'd have a Skoda? Oh, bless him. Yeah, I think it was it Butts, and I was talking to Butts, and he was talking about Martin Allen. No, it wasn't Butts. Tell it was Kevin Keane, and Martin Allen had a his car was sponsored by Alan Ford, round by Romford on the roundabout, and he would get.
A few of them had Fords from sponsors then.
And I bought my car from them. I live in Hornchurch, so keeping the tradition going. But he'd get a phone call every month from Alan Ford's to say there'd been a complaint about his driving. What's the price? Right, so we'll put Ludo in goal. Let's go left back. Who we got? I could probably guess left back, but who we got left back, Jonah?
Yeah, we got Dixie left back, mate.
Yeah.
Don't really need to say much. Well, we can say what we want, mate. Fantastic player. Great lad. And it's good to see him continually do well as well.
Yeah.
It's good to see that Slav, who's, once again, he's in my side coming up, which will surprise a few. They've stayed together and they've done really well. They was unlucky at the end, Russ, to be honest with you. I think it was such a great season, the last season at the Boleyn, that I don't think that worked in their favour. And the stadium as well.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. But it worked. I mean, that last season, as you said, Upton Park, all the stars aligned, didn't they? A little bit. You had the right manager, you had the right
Yeah,
assistant manager, you had the right star player, and it just all
yeah,
worked. And unfortunately, I think the bar was almost raised too high, assuming, okay, we're going to the next level, not realizing that everything's going to be different. And
yeah,
every team that
yeah.
moves from stadium that first season is always awful. You know, when
Well, mate,
Arsenal moved, and
Spurs now. Look at
yeah,
Arsenal. Mate, they're struggling, them two, aren't they?
yeah,
You know what
no,
I mean? Arsenal really struggling, Russ.
yeah, they
You
are.
know, big table material if they ain't careful.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
so it's, when you do go to a big stadium, it does bring a different. You then need a special team,
Yeah,
and I think like the likes of Man City have had that with Guardiola. I
yeah.
think he's put the team on the pitch that warrants that stadium, and
Mm.
I think Klopp's probably done the same at Anfield.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. Right, we'll put Dixie in. Let's go. Let's
Yep,
go right back. Who we got right back then, Steve?
robots right back.
I know who the robot is now. I didn't know who it
Uh,
was the first time. Martin Allen looked at me like I was an idiot. So I know it's
yeah,
Timmy.
Gene, absolute machine, and a good player as well.
Yeah. Great trainer.
Once again, he went on to do a bit of coaching in the game, and I think he's still in the game, Russ, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's oh God, I can't remember who he is, but he is because we interviewed him, and he was a lovely guy. Yeah, he's definitely still in the game, and that's good, and that's a testament of how good these players are when they can,
Yeah.
you know, they're still going. You know, still going, but you know what I mean. Right,
Well, Russ, Potsy's not in my team.
no,
Obviously, I put him on the bench if I had five, but
yeah,
Potsy warrants being in there as well.
yeah,
The fact that it's right back and Tim was so strong there, mate. Potsy seemed to play more centre half when I was there.
yeah. No, definitely.
Obviously, I picked other centre halves.
Yeah, of course. Right. So, who are those centre half? Who's your first centre half then, Steve?
Alvin's first centre half, mate.
Yeah, must have.
Arguably one of the best centre halves I've seen play the game.
Really.
And I see him towards the end of his career as well, once again. So, but just an incredible player, mate. And I could see why he played for England. And I was probably surprised that he didn't play more for England, you know. And a top fella.
Yeah.
And a top fella. West Ham in his blood. 100% every game. Would die for the club. And a player of great ability.
Yeah.
So it don't really get no better, does it?
No, you don't. And I think you already said he's going to partner with.
He'll be in that first training session. So
Exactly. He's already set the mark for you, didn't he? To be honest, that first training session. Right. Who's he partner? Is it Slav? You said.
Yeah, I'm putting Slav in there mainly for obviously the second spell. He done great for Croatia. Up Croatia, he done great for West Ham, but I think the pound notes become ringing when Everton come knocking, and I don't think he could turn it down. But a very old centre half, good player, very modern day centre half. To be honest with you, he'd fit in quite nicely nowadays, Russ.
Yeah,
and his coaching, and you can see his footballing brain how he's done with his coaching and his managing.
Oh, definitely, and just you can see how, particularly when he was our manager, you know, there was a real team spirit. Do you know what I mean? It's like a togetherness, and you can see that came through. And obviously, as you said, he was, you know, even when he was in, you know, the Croatian national team, you know, and he was always, you know, it was unusual to have an international player for West Ham, so to speak, in that respect, you know, from Croatia. But he was a good lad. He was a good lad.
But an outstanding player, mate, top fella. And just generally, I thought I'd slot him in there. Really, I could have had Galley, Potsy. I could have had quite a few people. Really,
yeah.
But I threw Slav in for a bit diversity.
No, I like it. That's good shit. That's nice. Right, okay, let's go midfield then. Let's go. Let's go left mid. Left mid. Who we got left mid?
I struggle with left mid, mate, and I was going to throw someone that I never play with, Dimitri Payet, but I'm going to go with Kevin Keane.
Yeah,
because I played with him a bit, not loads, Russ, but a really exceptional footballer, and once again the same as Alvin, 100%, really good player, great footballer, and a top fella. I remember jumping him for the first goal. If I look at the video, he can't hold me. I'm obviously 14 stone. He's tiny. He wobbles backwards. I nearly crush him. So I always quite remember that from our first goal, but. No, the top player and top fella as well.
Yeah, good shout. I'll put Keno in. Okay, let's go the other side. Let's go right mid then, Steve.
Tough again. I flirted with Matthew Rush because I had 2 seasons with him in the reserves, Rush, and I got to know Rushy well. We were good mates. And he done well when he came in at times as well.
Yeah.
But gone with Martin Allen. And the reason I've gone on the right of him, obviously you're understand when the two centre midfielders come that I couldn't leave them out really.
Yeah.
Infectious, great character. Then once again, we've said that before about players. Just an exceptional character, crazy, made you laugh every day of training, which is which helps the dressing room. West Ham had 4 or 5, 6 players like that at the time.
Yeah.
You know, there were some strong characters there, like you said. But no, and a better player. Once again, a lot of people think he was just a tackling, but he was a good player, mate. He scored goals. He got forward. He could play, mate. And he, like all these players on this thing, other than one of them, 100% every game.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, definitely. We'll put Mad Dog in. Yeah, good shout. Okay, let's go for your centre mids then. You've already alluded to them. Who are we going to have in the centre mid positions then, Steve?
Bishy's first.
Yeah.
Set 3 of my 5 goals up that I played at West Ham. Exceptional player, exceptional fella. You know what I mean? Once again, that dressing room at the time with the likes of all them boys, mate, was an outstanding atmosphere. And Rusty, all our workers, and at the time in them days, there was a lot of boozing going on. There was a lot of out, but there was a lot of graft going on. They'd come in on the Monday, and like obviously you've heard the mince one. I remember everyone had extra strong mints or polos, you know, because most people were on the piss at the weekend after the game. Yeah. That come with it, and obviously the likes of Harry and that would pick up on it, and they wouldn't be too pleased with it. And obviously Bonzo, you'd never go near Bonzo if you were stinking of booze. You know what I mean? That's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, really exceptional. But when you look at that midfield, there's some characters in that midfield and that defence, mate. It was good times for West Ham. Them sort of 2 years I was there to start with. Even I was out quite a bit, Russ, and I was playing more reserves. It was an eye-opener, mate, because like I said, there was some strong characters there. Dixie being the main one, really. They didn't tell Dixie, he told them what to do, you know.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what Mad Dog said.
It was like that, Russ.
Yeah.
You know, if Dixie wanted to have a crate of beers in the back and a bus, and he would do, you know what I mean? Brilliant. So it was quite funny at times, that sort of thing, but that's never going to happen now, Russ. So
no, it's not.
We grew up in quite a good era with that.
I think you did. Yeah.
I don't think they have such a good laugh now, do you?
No, and I think that comes across, and I've said it in lots of these videos, that the one thing that's come out of all of this is there's a lack of characters in the game now. Yeah. Not just West Ham, but across.
Obviously, I played for other clubs, and I remember I played in the Charlton playoff, and the year we went up. Once again, that team, a lot of British players, and a lot of characters. And that's what got the team up at the time. Like all these, you know, you see it with a lot of clubs that have come up through the leagues. It's like what Eddie Howe's done.
Yeah,
you know?
True.
He's got characters together. He knows his players. A bit different now, admittedly so. And Eddie's done a great job, of course. But you know, it was a lot of bonding then, and teams were driven by team spirit and stuff like that, and characters, and the fans loved it well, Russ, as you know.
They did. You're right, and it's like you could associate yourself with players, you know, like guys like you and guys like Bish and Mad Dog. You know, the fans could associate them. Obviously, they could associate them more than nowadays. I can't really associate myself with Felipe Anderson and Sebastian Haller.
No.
They're foreign-based players, and there's not that sort of. You know, it's not against that at all. But the thing is, it's just you don't have that closeness that you did with the players, because then they'd hang around. You know, I mean, Gailey said when I interviewed him that every year was a testimonial year for him, for his in the team, and that's what you got. You got like a real bond. You don't get that anymore now. And the ones that do stand out, like Mark Noble and you know, I mean, Winston Reid's been around for 10 years almost now.
Yeah, exceptional the club.
And it's just you know, it's strange, and I think that's why there's sometimes a disconnect between players and the fans, is because the game's different now, and they all bugger off after 3 years. Same as the managers, really, as well. You know,
Russ, you know as I do. Felipe Anderson's on 150 grand a week, mate. Now, if you're on, footballers have become rock stars.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, they've become virtually untouchable, mate. Whereas rock stars now have to graft. They have to go and do concerts because they don't get dough for music.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of, but football are rock stars now.
Yeah.
It's mega money. If you reach the top, you've only got to have one season, Russ, and you're a multi-millionaire.
True.
That's the way it is now. You know, it's very fortunate. Them players are very fortunate, mate. Very fortunate.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think the fans get frustrated, and myself being a fan, I do, because when you see them players that are on them sort of money and they don't even sweat and they don't even run up and down and try. Don't get me wrong, they're good players. We know they are. They've got great ability. But when they don't do that, it's like, hold on here. You're on 150, 130, 110, 90 grand a week, and you're not trying to leg here.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the performances at the moment. It ain't good enough.
Yeah.
Like I said before earlier, they've got to pull their finger out.
Yeah. We will. We will. I think we will.
You've got to play for the club, Russ. And
yeah.
You've got to play for the badge.
You've got to play for the badge. And I think, and you're right, I think that's why people get frustrated when players don't play for the badge. And unfortunately, it's a nature of the game now. As you said, players can move. You know, they can throw their dummies out of the pram and move. And so,
well, let's be fair. One of our best players, probably from the likes of Brooking and Bonzo and Devo, Dimitri Payet, mate.
Yeah.
You know, look what happened there.
Exactly.
I don't know what went on in his private life. Will it ever come out? Who knows? But the way it just turned so quickly from being arguably one of the best seasons I've ever seen from a West Ham player for a long, long time to going on strike.
Yeah, true.
Incredible. But it was, which was a shame, really, because he was an outstanding talent. It would have been nice to have him there for 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, or even if he didn't strike, and they sold him in January, whatever, you know, it's the way players leave nowadays, isn't it? You know, people accept people will move in the same way that, you know, I'll move from one job to another. You know, it's a career for them rather than a passion, it seems, and I think that's what happens. Right? Okay. Anyway,
when I moved from the club, the second spell, I played a few games. It didn't quite happen.
No.
Charlton's come to me for $500,000. You know what Harry's like. He's not going to turn that down. He's only paid 200 grand for me. He's going to move me on. Hopefully that part of that money went towards the Hearts and the Kitson that revived them seasons, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I only had 6 games that season, that bit of dollar, I think, helped out in them causes, which obviously helped the club out. So sometimes moving on, you can't really stop it.
No, you can't. But as you said, it's the way people move. It's like if Dimmy went on strike, or, you know, Arnautovic, and it's all those maverick players. You have to take the rub of the green. I mean, everyone forget Paulo only came to us because he pushed the referee over. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, so and Dimmy came to us doing the same thing. He left.
Funny enough, Russ, that referee, I don't think he refed again, right? But his comeback game was at Charlton. And I was at Charlton at the time, a reserve game at the training ground.
Oh, right.
And when he turned up, the whole of the Charlton dressing room was singing Paolo Di Canio. Just for the simple fact, we know why. But it was hilarious, mate. Hilarious. And that's once again, that's Charlton fans, Charlton players singing out about a West Ham player, just to give a bit of stick to the referee, which was warranted, really, because the fall over was probably one of the most extravagant I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think
it was, man. It was very good.
Did he ever come back?
I don't know. I think he must have done. Because I think he did. He must have done. I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, he didn't injure himself.
It weren't that bad of a fall, was it?
No. And obviously, famously, wasn't it? Was it Razor and Ian Wright did the celebration the day after, didn't they? But there's right. Anyway, back to the team. We put Bish in. Who's the other centre mid?
Peter Butler.
Peter Butler, of course. I should have just guessed that. Peter Butler.
A very workmanlike centre midfield. A bit of talent, a bit of goals in there. But there's a lot of work in there. It's a good centre midfielder.
Lot of graft there, that's for sure.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Up front, playing yourself.
I'm going with 1-1.
1-1. Okay, go on in.
I'm going Paulo Futre.
Yeah.
Because of one really training session I had with him, and I'll tell you. And Trevor Morley up top on his own.
Oh, nice.
And to bear in mind, I jotted down 5 subs. I put myself as sub, which I was generally anyway, so that kind of worked. But I got Tony Cottee, Clive Allen, Kenny Brown, and Steve Potts.
Oh, nice, good bench.
I mean, Clive Allen and Tony Cotty are subs. Incredible, really, isn't it?
Well, it is. You see the players. I mean, the players you played with. You know, you read through them. You would get on. No, you probably wouldn't, Steve. To be honest, when you've got TC and Clive Allen. I mean, what was it? It might have been Mad Dog, or it might have been Keno, was saying that Clive Allen was the best finisher they saw at the club. They said he was.
Well, you know what? Russ, I had one training session. I tell a lie. I stayed behind quite a bit, and Clive. Once again, this is typical. He said, "Jonesy, come, we're going to do an hour." And we used to do a thing. We'd be like 18, 22 yards out, and he'd stand in front of you. You'd be back to goal, 6, 10 balls, and he'd drop them over your shoulder, and you had to turn, half volley, whatever on the 6. Russ, honestly, to start with, I was woeful. But the more I did it, the faster I improved, very much so.
Yeah.
But Clive Allen, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Bottom corner, top corner, rattled the bar, rattled the post. Every single one, Russ, was just, honestly, it was like, and in the end, I was hitting 3 and 4, but he was 9 and 10, 8, 9 and 10,
mental.
Every 10, and Tony was the same.
Yeah,
Tony was the same. They're both born goal scorers, mate. Born goal scorers. Incredible talent. Clive was some player, finishing wise.
It was a good play. It was, obviously, it's part of that 92, 93 sort of season, wasn't it? He scored the goal. He scored the one that everyone went crazy at, and everyone ran on the pitch and
we tapping, to be fair, on it.
Yeah, it was tapping. Yeah, Cambridge United. It was a tapping.
I remember playing in Cosenza on I think it was one of my first starts. We played away. We won 1-0. And we should never have played it. It was underwater. We had to take our boots off, because when you come out of the dressing room, it went down a tunnel. So we had to wade through the tunnel. There was like 2 foot of water in there, and the pitch was unplayable. But they played it because obviously the travelling and this, that, and the other. Well, I went down the right. A few people would have seen that game, or they might have seen it. I whipped a ball in. Clive come in from 25 yards out, Ross, left foot volley, top corner stanchion. It was just, if you ever get to see that goal,
yeah, sure.
Like many, what a goal! What a goal! What a finisher!
Yeah, and again, we got him roughly towards the end of his career as well, so to speak.
Fair TC, Russ, saying that, he kind of, the first spell at West Ham, he kind of ended my West Ham career, because we played Everton at home, and I had a couple of chances. Neville Stafford done well and saved against me, and it was 0-0. TC scored up the other end for Everton in the 87th minute, and it was I think that was the beginning of the end of my first spell at West Ham.
Oh.
But I remember that really well, because I don't think I played again much after that. But it was ironic that TC scored the goal up the other end, as he often did.
As he often did, wherever he played. Jonah, it's been lovely. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I've really, really enjoyed it. And obviously, we had a little phone call in the weekend, which I really enjoyed as well. It was just good fun. It's been absolutely brilliant chatting, man. Really appreciate your time. It's been really, really cool. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching. Obviously, share, like, subscribe. Humbled by all the messages, everyone. I comment. I read every one of them. Keep them coming.
Stay safe, everyone, as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it looks like we're coming to the end of it now, which looks good. Russ, looks good. Back to the football, hopefully.
Back to the football. Hopefully, back to the pub soon, and it will be back to normal. Anyway, for me and Steve, take care, everybody. Stay safe, keep well, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
It's great fun. I love it.
Yeah, we had some good shirts in during them times. The Dagger Motor shirt.
Yeah.
The light blue with the 2 hoops, I loved.
Yeah.
I scored in that in away in the FA Cup. And do you know what? I remember that to the day. The fans, Russ. We drew 1-1 away.
Yeah.
Mate, it was Billy Bonds' Claret and Blue Army for 75 minutes. For the moment it was just incredible. I remember we took the whole of one stand-up, and obviously I had a good game that day. And with things like that, you could never replace something like that. The atmosphere was just so good, and when you've scored, and obviously you're that kind of hero for the day, it don't get no better,
No.